they have really, truly lost touch with truth entirely. They hate him so much. And I have to tell you, by being in the room at the State of the Union, you know how I feel about the State of the Union. I think it is awful. I think it's a joke. I think it's pomp and circumstance. I hate every second of it.
You've said that ever since I've known you.
Yes.
Over 20 years ago.
Correct.
Been saying that.
And I still hate every second of it. But if I were in the government, I would reposition the cameras, because all you focus on is the president, and then the cameras direct your attention to what the cameras want to show you. What I saw on television in clips was different than what I saw when I was there. And what I saw, I was behind Congress and above them. So I could see, and I know we're all above Congress, but I could see who was going through their Facebook pages, who is tweeting stuff, who is taking selfies, who is just reading something that was not the text of the speech, who was nudging each other and laughing, who was hissing, booing, doing things that you cannot hear on television. And I came away with, and I know this is going to cause me all kinds of trouble, but I came away with respect on how restrained this president was.
Wow. Okay? You don't hear that very often.
You don't see the people on the left and how they treat him. Now, what we focus on is this. Jemele Hill. She is an Atlantic staff writer.
And former high-profile ESPN host, we should point out.
She tweeted this. Somebody tweeted, "Please let AOC yell out, whose man's is this?" I don't even know what that means.
Sure, it's a reference. You're right in your demographic.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. Jemele Hill writes and tweets, "Nah, she's got to yell, 'Get your hand out of my pocket.'"
Gosh, it's almost like you were playing the audio. You nailed that line so well.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you know what that is?
I don't, but I'm sure you do.
Yes. "Get your hand out of my pocket."
I like how your name.
Thank you.
I get yo hand.
Was what was screamed in the auditorium by a man who was part of the crew that was assassinating Malcolm X. He was in the back, and he stood up as Malcolm X was speaking peacefully. And he said, "Get your hand out of my pocket." And that was the cue, and everybody jumped up. It became melee. 4 guys came to the stage and gunned Malcolm X down in a hail of bullets. He was riddled with bullets. They kept shooting and kept shooting and kept shooting. They made sure that man was dead. How is it that this woman still has a blue check mark?
Oh, and she's praised. The media loves Jemele Hill.
Of course they do.
Oh, yeah.
Of course they do. And that's all we see. All we see is the ones that come out of reporters and out of conservative journals that say, "Hey, wait a minute, this is a little double standard, and this is horrible." Yeah. Can you imagine had I said that about Barack Obama?
Oh my God!
How many times did I say under Bush, under every president, joking about the safety of the president is never funny.
Never a good idea.
Never. Can you imagine if somebody would have said that, who was in a position of power, about Barack Obama? And yet she still has her Twitter feed. And she still has a blue check mark.
Let's not forget the exact publication you're talking about that she now works after losing her job at ESPN. Got rid of Kevin Williamson for a years-old quote taken out of context about abortion. Here is, she's publicly saying this. This is essentially the equivalent of, I don't believe that she's going to go try to kill the president. However, you don't joke about those things. And it certainly, in the other way, if the other way around, it would be something that she would get fired for if she were to say that about Barack Obama and she was a conservative. And The Atlantic in particular is firing people because of controversial speech. And they're going to make Kevin Williamson have to leave, but they're going to keep Jamel Hill.
So because of that, and here's what I've missed. Because of that, when you see these congressmen, and mainly the congresswomen in the Progressive Caucus, they were so unbelievably disrespectful. They were so unbelievably out of control, really out of control. For decorum, no one would find that acceptable if the other side had done that to Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. No one would find it acceptable. You wouldn't find their behavior acceptable in Congress if it was Barack Obama. They were so disrespectful because they know they can get away with it. They can laugh at a tweet like this and get away with it.
Yeah. Remember the New York Times writer who was saying all white people should be killed and everything? It was funny. It was a funny thing.
It was a funny little joke.
Come on, you know what she means.
So that has empowered these people. And I did not take into account what it is like for the president, because he is the president, what it's like for the president to face these people every single day and how they mistreat him. We all see the mistreatment that we see, but we only see the mistreatment that somebody on a conservative platform will catch and point out. Mm-hmm. And in many times that is only coming from the liberal-owned cameras that are shooting everything. When you're actually in that situation and you're watching, I'm telling you, I have more respect for the president on how restrained he was.